There's a modern prophet whose predictions have an amazing percentage of accuracy, although he made some of them merely through the study of the human hand. Here's Count Hamon, who called himself Cairo. Among his early predictions was that which he made for Lord Kitchener. When Kitchener was still an unknown colonel in the British Army, Cairo told him he will someday head the British Army in its greatest war to come. Kitchener, you may recall, was made War Minister at the outbreak of the First World War. Now, Cairo then elaborated his prediction in declaring, "And you will die in a sea disaster in your 66th year." Lord Kitchener died when the battleship which was to bring him to Russia was torpedoed. Even though he had trained himself to become a good swimmer, he drowned in the turbulent waters of the North Sea in the year 1916. And he was in his 66th year. In order to test Cairo's ability, Tsar Nicholas II approached the famous palm reader in the disguise of a private citizen. Cairo told the Tsar, "You desire peace, but your destiny is tied up with bloody wars and turmoil, and you will lose what you love best through violence." A few years after the Russian-Japanese War, which ended so disastrously for Russia, Cairo came to Moscow and Tsar Nicholas demanded to see him at his summer palace. Cairo was asked to work out the Kabbalistic numbers of both the Tsar and the Tsarina, and he was stunned by the tragic death he foresaw for them both in 1917. When the monk Rasputin came to him for a reading, Cairo told him that he would be killed by poison, a dagger, and bullets, and that his body would be thrown into the river Neva. Rasputin laughed and claimed to be indestructible. He almost was. For it took all four methods: poison, dagger, bullets, and the icy waters of the river Neva to crush the life out of his tremendous body. In London, Cairo was asked to read the palm of a veiled woman. He told her about a brilliant career and fame and fortune all over the continent, but an end of disaster and misfortune. The woman gasped, "Oh, mon Dieu!" And Cairo gazed into the deep eyes of the immortal Sarah Bernhardt, Europe's greatest actress. In his long, eventful life, Cairo read hundreds of palms of the great and near great. Among his famous clients were the beautiful Blanche Roosevelt, a gifted American girl who became Contessa Marchetta d'Alclay. Madame Melba, the great singer whose golden voice thrilled Europe and America. Lily Langtry, the famous actress who became the darling of America. And Mark Twain, the great American humorist who was bankrupt when he came for his reading. He wrote in Cairo's guest book, "Cairo has exposed my character to me with humiliating accuracy. I ought not to confess this accuracy. Still, I am moved to do it. Mark Twain." The most tragic and yet truthful prediction which Cairo made was that which he saw in the palm of the famous English poet Oscar Wilde. After examining a pair of pudgy male hands, Cairo declared, "The right hand is the hand of a king who sends himself into exile." "Ridiculous," exclaimed Lily Langtry. "Oscar is a genius and an aesthete." But after his unfortunate scandal, Oscar Wilde had to exile himself. He died in Paris, poor and lonely, shunned by his admirers and deserted by his society friends. Cairo was no less amazing in his predictions of historical events. In 1927, for example, he declared that India would be freed and religious warfare would rage between the Mohammedans and the Buddhists. Cairo further predicted that Italy and Germany would war with France and that Spain would be under a dictatorship. This came to pass with the alliance of Hitler and Mussolini, and General Franco did become dictator of Spain. He also foresaw that London and the east coast towns of England would be destroyed by Russian airplanes. He declared, "The great battle of Armageddon will be fought on the plains of Palestine between Russia and the new Jewish nation." Cairo cited in 1927 a newspaper article, "Unfathomed Wealth of the Dead Sea and Palestine." The imagination reels before the stupendous figures of wealth, estimated by the experts to be the value of the deposits. Andrew Jackson Davis, one of the most amazing psychics